What's the lyrics to the end song by the Ramones for the Spider-Man Far From Home? Is it, "Hey little girl, I wanna be your boyfriend"?
Is it that one?
Hey little girl, I wanna be your boyfriend.
Okay.
You know it was in the credits?
I honestly
For
do
Far
not
From Home?
remember.
It was in my head, and I was thinking, is the lyrics, "Hey little girl, I wanna be your boyfriend"?
Probably.
Then I was like, on the way home, I was like, "Hey older girl, I wanna be your
No,
boy."
it was probably the former, not the latter.
Hey, little girl, I wanna be your boyfriend.
Based on the world.
Well,
based on the world.
this was the 80s with the Ramones, man.
Let's not. If
you
you go even further back in pop music history, you'll see that the song titles run a varying degree of low key
Pedophilia.
Pedophilia. I'd say it's pretty rampant since the dawn of civilization, and what you can't see is that I have air quotes.
The dawn of
Shut.
syphilis.
I
What
mean-
was up with that video you sent me for YouTube, Jeff and the Jeff Show?
When you've got good friends, they...
Hello, welcome to the Jeff Show. Great news today.
I was, what did I say underneath it?
You gave no explanation. You're just like,
Get
funny.
your boy. That was the
Yeah.
explanation. I don't have any explanation for it other than I was like, this is a dude that we know. What the hell is going on?
Wait, how do we know
Get
him?
Your boy. Well, we went to school together.
Jeff who?
I'm not gonna say his name. You gotta say.
Is it Galver?
Yeah.
That was Jeff Galver?
You didn't fucking know that?
I didn't even recognize Jeff Galver.
Dude, so you watched the whole video and you didn't realize that was Galfer?
It was only 3 minutes long.
Why did I fucking say get your boy? Did you not get like...
No, I didn't recognize that was Jeff Galfer.
Wow. Yeah, that's Galfer.
It was-
Are you fucking with me right now?
I swear to you, I did not. I even sent a comment from What We Into, which
I
was
was wondering
like,
why, because I saw it. It ended up on the What We Into Facebook page, and I was like,
yeah,
you
because I
showing
liked
Jeff
it.
love now.
Because I thought it was so funny, and I couldn't figure out if they were really going to do 185 days worth of
him just being nude.
yeah, being nude and reviewing the sandal
I
with
guess
the
not.
HK2s.
I guess not, because I've seen more recent videos, like, because I guess most recent one I saw, the other guy is naked now, and he's in a full 3-piece suit.
Perfect. I mean, what I like about it is that like I just came away with so many answers, or so many questions with no
Yeah, I
answers.
was gonna
Like,
say.
what is going on? Where are the other 4 videos?
You know, by the way, this is your boy Rob Carmer Robinson, and sitting across from me is my man.
Lawrence Style. I was really hoping you would do the intro too. Keep going. Don't let me interrupt.
And this is what we into, if you haven't guessed. And I think this is week 30.
This is week 30, baby.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. It didn't feel like that long of a time, but here we are, 30 episodes deep.
Yeah, and we're now in the new format where we're doing the weekly news as one podcast, and 2 or 3 days later releasing What We Into with whatever we're reviewing that week.
Right.
I can't tell if people like that or not. I have no idea.
They love it. People love us.
They love it. They love everything about us.
We're pretty cool. Dude, if I say that, you can't start laughing immediately afterwards. It makes us look weird.
This is a podcast about video games.
And now you're gonna tell them
Superheroes.
They're 30 weeks in with us. They know what the fuck we talking about.
I'm talking about the first time listeners. But we were talking about a YouTube video called The Jeff Show.
Right.
Which I just realized is our friend Jeff Galfer from college.
Was he?
Was he a
in
friend?
your class? Wasn't he like your classmate?
He was a year above me.
Okay.
He was kind of a dick for like multiple years.
Kind of a dick?
And then when he graduated, we went to New Harmony, and he had like one moment where he was kind of nice. And I was like, okay, Jeff's
You're
kind
not
of
bad.
I was like, you're.
I just always thought he was a dick. Don't
20
get me
years-
wrong. He's a nice guy, but he's also like really a dick.
That format for him is really funny though.
I'm surprised it hasn't gotten him like a show already in Hollywood. He's been out there.
We should get him to review our show naked.
Hey, you're closer to him than I. He was 2 years above me, so I think you're gonna have to do that sort of bridge there.
I kind of related to early in his little video where he was like, "We have to work so much, we hate our lives." I was like, "Tell me about it."
Well,
It's the American way, baby.
I watched 2 back to back because there was that one, and then there was the one the day before, and it was him in that same configuration. and ostensibly saying like a lot of the same. And I wasn't sure if this was like him putting it on.
I couldn't tell at all. That's just why I loved it. I was like, "Are you really reviewing the sandal for 185 days?"
But no, it actually changed because I guess I'm getting notifications for it now. I don't know why. Skynet probably. But
did you subscribe?
I didn't at all.
I think I subscribed.
Did you?
I want more.
But yeah, you should check. Well, then you should check out his newest one. He's they flipped it. The other guy now is naked, and he's in like I said, a 3-piece suit. I
will definitely put the link in the podcast so you can go and watch a video yourself at home.
And yeah, let us know what you think.
What is your Wix website? Because I tried to find it and I couldn't find it.
Oh God!
And I was going to put it on the page.
Oh, way to put me on the spot. I believe it's Shine Brighter at Winks at mysite.winks.
So easy, ladies and gentlemen. Shine Brighter with a Y.
Shine Brighter with a Y.
I'll never find that. I'll put Rob's link
at mysite.winks
to his website.
I'll send it to you again. Since I created it, I haven't really used it. There's no foot traffic there, so.
Well, once again, this is What We Into. Definitely not a nerd website.
No,
did you hear about Back to Future 4?
Yes, I did.
I was trying to think of what is the least nerdy thing to talk about.
I was going to say, well, we're jumping into news right now.
This is the news.
This is the nerd.
It's Channel 4 News at 6 o'clock.
Yes, there's no real official Back to the Future 4, but there's always been talks about, are they going to come back? Because that's what you do with successful movies. You just keep making sequels until they...
I had the same thing about the Matrix prequel this week, but apparently your boy from Creed wants is
Michael B. Jordan?
Yeah, apparently he's supposed to be set in this, like, it's not like, I know there have been talks about it, but I don't know if it, in the same way that they've been talking about Back to the Future 4, but yeah, apparently the talks are that for this Matrix prequel, Michael B. Jordan starring in it.
Okay.
But I mean, it's not official. This is just like rumor mill bullshit.
Is he a young Morpheus?
I mean, I don't know. At this point, there's so little known about like this fictional movie that may or may not actually take place. I don't know.
But wait, he shouldn't be a young Morpheus because he could just get Lawrence Fishburne's son, who was in Ant-Man and the Wasp, who looks a lot like Lawrence Fishburne.
Who the hell was he in the Ant-Man? Lawrence Fishburne's son was in Ant-Man and the Wasp as who?
Is one of the
Goons or whatever?
One of the shots of Lawrence Fishburne when he's young is his son. I want to say Jeremiah Fishburne. It's not Jeff Galfer Fishburne.
I honestly don't remember a point in that movie where Lawrence Fishburne was young.
It's the flashback when he's like, I don't know, some stuff was happening, there were some explosions, and Lawrence Fishburne's character, remember, has a falling out with Michael Douglas when they're young.
Yeah,
and
I thought that was just a CGI version of Lawrence Fishburne.
It's Lawrence Fishburne's son. Anyways, Back to the Future 4, during a panel at Niagara Falls' Comic-Con, Christopher Lloyd stated that he'd be happy, in quotes, to reprise his role as Dr. Emmett Brown for the fourth Back to the Future film. And he says, quote, I think somehow it needs to kind of convey a message about something that's important to everyone universally, like climate change, some way of incorporating whatever fever is going on at the moment into the film, and keep the feeling of 1, 2, and 3. That's a tricky deal because you don't want to do another one and disappoint. So I don't know.
Well, here's the thing. If they're doing a Back to the Future 4...
They shouldn't. No.
Is Michael going to be involved?
They're not. This is what happens, though. This is like the hype train just starting up, and somebody from one of the previous movies like, yeah, I'll do a sequel, and then all of a sudden, like, all these websites jump on. They're like, Back to the Future 4 sequel, not confirmed yet, but coming soon. But it's just hype.
Yeah.
So
the Lion King's reactions on Twitter are interesting.
Lion King reactions?
Yeah, I guess some people saw it and like took to Twitter to praise it. Ostensibly, it's getting a very high pat on the back from Twitter. Apparently,
you can't put Beyonce in.
It's interesting that you started with Beyonce because I feel like she's probably. I mean, don't get me wrong. The singing is probably going to be amazing.
Yeah.
But if we're talking about like acting chops and things, name one movie that you've seen Beyonce in that you were like.
It doesn't matter at all. It matters so little because one, it's not Beyonce in the movie.
That's
She's
true.
going to be like a lion.
You're right.
A lioness.
You're right.
Wait, who is she in the movie anyway?
She plays Nala. She's grown up Nala.
Right. But let's be honest. Like, Nala just sort of like, she's there in the beginning. Then she's gone for a whole bunch, and she kind of comes in the end. She's like, "Dude, go fight the other lion." And he's like, "All right, cool." And he goes and does.
That's good, dude.
I haven't seen Lion King in 20 years.
You serious?
But
I remember that movie so vividly. Like every like there were because that was one of the movies that actually I remember. It was the summer that movie came out. My sisters, the summer that came out on VHS. My sisters had it on VHS, and I must have seen that movie like 100 times.
You told me.
I'm so physically traumatized by how often that movie was on in my house. Like I know it word for fucking word.
What's your favorite part?
None. No, there is no favorite part for me.
What's your
all
least
trauma.
favorite part of The Lion King?
My least favorite part is the moment when you hear that the opening section. Actually, not for nothing. That opening section is probably my favorite part.
I mean, it's awesome. It's straight rip-off of the Japanese anime.
Is it? Well, I believe it. But, like, just that whole, like, thing of, like, things waking up on the African, like, Sahara, like, the tundra. That's all animated and cool. So,
Yeah. Awesome.
Not gonna shit on that.
Wait, what are the reactions?
Like, all praise. Like, this article is, like, I haven't read one reaction that's been like, yo, this is kind of, what the fuck? Like, all of it's just, like, love, and it's the same sort of thing they did for Aladdin that just dropped.
Yeah. I heard that was good, though.
Yeah,
I heard that was
but,
really
like,
good.
Is it, though?
I don't know. It might be cool. Which would you rather, if you had to, like, on your deathbed, to watch one before your light finally extinguished from this earth?
I would kill myself. I'd say,
No,
I'm checking out right now.
That's what I'm saying, is you're already dying, and you have, like, 2 hours left, and you have to watch either Aladdin or Lion King.
I'd rather have that last 2 hours to do anything but.
You don't have the
masturbate.
choice.
I'm going to jack off for 2 hours until I die.
This is the conundrum. This is why people listen to this podcast. Rob's Conundrums. Which would you watch? Jeff Galper wants to know, man.
Well, the Jeff can bite me. It's none of Jeff's business what I'm doing in my final hours of life. And if
you can masturbate and do heroin while watching it.
I will do both those things while not watching. Is my point.
You have to. It has to be playing.
All right. Well, no. Let me turn it around. What would you rather if you were on your deathbed?
As a white person, I would say Aladdin.
What?
Because representation matters. Even on my deathbed. I'm gonna put it out there. White guilt to the end, baby.
Guilty white man problems. That's funny,
man. So George R.R. Martin has some stuff he's talking about with the Game of Thrones prequel. He's like, it's got 100 kingdoms, and it takes place about 5,000 years before, Game of Thrones, and it's going to be called The Long Night, or The Longest Night, or neither of those two.
Wait, this is him saying this? These are his words?
Yeah, this is speaking to Entertainment Weekly.
He's like, I don't know, there may or may not be a dragon. You know what this sounds like?
Exactly.
This sounds like a motherfucker who was on his way to get, like really... I feel like George R.R. Martin is one of those cats who still goes to, like, the porn store and gets, like, magazines. And, the ones that they put in, like the discreet packaging with the black paper so that you don't know. And this conversation feels like him getting caught up outside one of those places. Like he's just walked out with like a bundle. And he's like, it's like, Jordan R. Martin, are you?
What?
And he's like, the dragons, and there may or may not be White Walkers. That's what this conversation sounds like.
Takes place during The Longest Night. That's not porn, though.
It's not porn. That it feels like someone who got caught doing something that they shouldn't be doing, and then had to like change the subject real quick to make it seem okay for the audience consumption.
Set during what is known as the Golden Age of Heroes in Westerosi history, show will present a Westeros far more fantastical than the one during the events of Game of Thrones, according to George R.R. Martin, caught buying porn from a gas station.
Exactly. From like not like there's no porn places like that anymore. You have to buy it at like a truck stop or something.
He's like, hello, do you have a why is he knocking? I don't know.
Why is he knocking on the dude?
But he's like, you have like a brown paper bag, and then the gas station guy's like, no,
it's all clear plastic.
It's clear plastic. You can see right through it.
Ooh, okay, I'll take 5.
What are some names of some current porn magazines?
Dude, I couldn't tell you names of like other than like Penthouse, Playboy, Do you remember like your dad's?
I mean, there was like Hustler, but I don't even.
Hustler, yeah, Hustler.
I mean, but what are the ones you would buy in like a gas station?
It'd be like barely legal midgets,
exactly.
grandmas or something.
It wouldn't be that interesting. It'd just be barely legal blondes with booties.
With booties. Yeah, that sounds like a publication. That definitely sounds. But not to get off this.
That's
amazing
it. Let's
subject,
get off this one.
but
I'm still tired of Game of Thrones.
Well, then you'll.
But that
have you
one
heard that Amazon Game Studios is announced a new Lord of the Rings MMO to play.
I'm glad you brought that up because I saw that in my news and was like, nah, I'm not going to talk about it.
Word. I feel like when you bring up Game of Thrones, I feel like it's lockstep, and it's also interesting that Amazon is taking on. Isn't it Amazon or is it Hulu doing the show? Who's doing the show? Is it Amazon? Right?
Amazon's doing the show, and it's set during the Second Age.
Right.
Yeah.
I just find it really interesting that that Amazon is now doing the show, but now they're doing a game. Amazon's making games now.
So explain for Jeff Galfer what MMO stands for.
I promise you, Jeff Galfer does not listen to this podcast.
He's going to. He's going to listen to the whole thing, everything. He's our biggest fan now. Jeff Galfer, this is what an MMO is.
An MMO is a massive multiplayer online experience. So this technically would be an MMORPG.
Okay.
Or a massively multiplayer online role-playing game.
In the Lord of the Rings.
Not set in the realm of Lord of the Rings. Not unlike your World of Warcraft or something to that effect. But there's very scant details on it as far as going forward right now. I can't really speak anything other than Amazon's making a Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And apparently it's going to be free to play.
So. Oh, that always means it.
So that's going to be amazing, right? Well, I say that shit.
Right?
I say that shit, but then Apex Legends, came out.
The second season just came out recently, which I don't play, but I saw that.
Which has not been good for them because Apex Legends, I guess, is a Microsoft property.
Really?
And I think that's not Microsoft, EA.
Oh, EA
publishers.
Yes, I knew that.
And apparently, I don't know if you noticed this week, but video game stocks took a real big dump this week. Like a lot of people.
Really?
Yeah.
Did somebody explain it's summer and people don't play video games that much in the summer?
Well, I think it's more to do with the fact that the market, the market is kind of like stuck in this mold of trying to make money, cornering the market or trying to make money off of this thing that's kind of shifting and non-existent. Like esports is part of the reason that the stocks fell out, at least from the article that I was reading. And granted, I'm not what is it?
Yes, you are. You are an expert in economics. Clearly,
an expert in economics. I am not that.
Yes, you are.
But apparently, it has to do with the fact that these markets are burgeoning and not quite solidified yet, and esports is trying to corner the market on everything, whereas there's only a few titles that really draw. People are always going to play soccer. People are always going to play Madden. People aren't always going to be Fortnite, Apex Legends, and sort of things like that. Coupled with the fact that EA has made some really bad missteps with some of these Anthem, Star Wars. These going back a few, I guess, quarters now. EA has not been hitting its stride. So this week.
Shit hit the fan.
Yeah, shit hit the fan. So a bunch of video game stock kind of plummeted this week.
Yeah. There was a joke on the Aziz Ansari stand-up special. Did you watch that?
I started watching it and then fell asleep halfway through.
That's when I should have fallen asleep last night, and I didn't. We'll talk about it.
So you saw the whole thing?
I saw the whole thing, but there's a joke where he's like, everybody's talking about the shit hitting the fan suddenly here. He's like, dude, the fan has always been shitty in America.
Right. Yeah, I did hear that joke.
We'll talk about it in the following episode after this one, what we into. But yeah, EA, yeah, sure, they suck. They've sucked for a long time.
Yeah, they have for a little bit.
One does not simply say no to a blunt.
I don't think the video game industry is having a hard time. I think they're doing
the video
fine.
game industry is doing kind of having a rough time, but can't be doing that bad when Nintendo's releasing a new Switch.
Look, it's right here on my page. You beat me to it.
I knew you were going to wait for it, so I had to jump that. I had to see how I set that up. See how I kind of baited you into giving me that segue.
So explain to Jeff Galfer what this new Nintendo
Why
Switch
are we explaining shit to Jeff Galfer?
Because this whole
listen.
Listen, too bad. The whole episode's dedicated to Jeff Galfer and the Jeff Show.
Wow. Well, then this is the point where I would say that again, that dude is a dick.
He's a lovable dick, though. He's like Vince Vaughn from Made.
I'd say less Vince Vaughn from Made, more The Rock from The Rundown.
I didn't see that movie, so I can't comment.
This is just me trying to get people to go watch The Rundown with The Rock
Why?
and Sean William Scott.
Are you
Because
in The
it's
Rundown?
hilarious.
You're
I
an
wish.
extra in the back?
No, but diversity matters and representation matters, and there is a multi-diverse cast in that movie. Only a few white people.
So the Nintendo Switch Lite, which is basically a Nintendo Switch without the removable
Joy-Cons.
controllers,
Yeah.
and it's smaller too.
It's smaller, it's lighter, and I guess the price point might be less.
It's $199, whereas the regular Switch that you can plug into your TV is $299.
So this one is basically like,
It's a Game Boy.
yeah, it's like a very elaborate Game Boy. Or it was like, you remember the controller for the Wii U?
Yes.
It's basically that, but they finally got the hardware and the technology sort of like synced
Smaller.
down.
It's still smaller. The Wii U. You played that with me.
Yeah,
with
I did.
I mean, it was the brick.
It was an interesting concept because they were trying to. You know what? It would have been cooler if they would have opened up their developer, their hardware to outside development.
Sure.
So people could have done things with that dual screen
Yeah,
action.
but they did nothing.
They did nothing with it. It was a completely useless peripheral that they were like, we're gonna charge you $400 to get this in your house, and then make Mario, Zelda, and maybe
I got it
Metroid for it.
I got 150. I got it for 150.
Oh, you got it on sale?
Yeah, but I got it for the kids way back. There was never a Metroid game for it, by the way.
They never made see.
Yeah.
And the crazy, I picked up the Wii, like the first generation
Yeah,
Wii.
they had like
and
3 or 4 Metroid games on it.
I think 2. I think they had 2.
I thought there was the Prime trilogy, or was one of those on the GameCube?
I think one of those was on the GameCube.
Okay,
one of those was on the Cube. Like I picked up the Wii for Metroid.
Yeah,
because it was the first time that you had like this. You know, you could.
Yeah,
like
I still have it. I have it over there.
You still have it?
Yeah.
But you have Metroid?
Well, I have the Wii U, and so the other reason I bought the Wii U is because you could play all of those Wii games on the Wii U. It's backwards compatible.
Right.
And so I thought the girls might be into it. And actually, they were a little young when I got it. Now they're actually getting into video games.
Well, yeah, they're actually pretty good now.
Yeah, like Daisy's kind of crushing Super Mario Odyssey.
Yeah,
you know?
She like which is funny because I remember when like when you first got it in the house, and it was sort of Penn's toy. It was Penn's thing, and Penn was always playing. Penn would always be playing, and I would always see kind of Daisy kind of like watching over the shoulder. She would, you know, the way Laura watches you play video game, you know, riding shotgun.
You mean angrily? Like, why can't I?
Like, why can't I play these? And then now I'm seeing her like run the table in some of these things. She's like, I'm like, Daisy, I don't know how to do this. She's like, let me roll my eyes and make this happen. Blah 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 blah.
My favorite response is Daisy's like, Daddy, how do I do this? And I'm like, I don't know. I've never played that game. This is your game. I've never been able to pick up. It's weird, like when your kids get into something that you would have been into, but because they're into it, you're like, no, I'm not into this anymore. Forget it.
So is that a thing parents do? They're like, I can't be into this because my kids are into it.
I don't think consciously. I think it just happens.
Really?
Like I have Super Mario Odyssey. I've never played it. Like, because I just see them playing it.
It's actually a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I've played it a few times. Like when babysitting, and like Pan will be like, Rob, I can't do this part. Do it for me.
Yeah.
And then I'll take it up and be like, wow, that's some. But it's ostensibly it's that first Mario that they made 3-dimensional.
Yeah.
Now. It's
Yeah.
that
Mario
world.
64.
Mario 64, which changed the game as far as Mario is concerned. And they're just doing those now, but you can take it everywhere. You can take it literally everywhere.
I just got scared there for a second. Had to check to make sure we're still recording. That happens every now and then. I'm like, oh god, are we recording?
You're such a weirdo.
Yeah. So Switch Lite, $199.
And there's going to be a couple Pokemon versions too. There's like
if you care about that stuff.
I think it's called. I think this version is like Sword and Shield or something.
Yeah, it's like a pastel purple and
like
pale thing.
Yeah, they're making them in like Pokemon colors, so you can get them cool.
It's smaller than the Switch. So the Switch has like a 6.2 inch touchscreen. This one has a 5.5 touchscreen. So it's smaller. It doesn't have the removable handles. So it's basically like a colored Game Boy that they could have put like a little dot
vertically. It's horizontally long. They just like remember Game Boy was sort of like a vertical thing.
Yes.
Now it's sort of horizontal, but like big.
What kind of annoys me is that like the Switch basically just has one plug-in, and you plug that directly. It's an HDMI plug-in, plugs directly into your TV, and then that's how you watch it on TV. It's not complicated. It's not a hard like expensive piece of hardware.
So having owned one, do you feel like this is a good move for Nintendo, especially like after what we just talked about, like the video game industry kind of like taking a crap on itself right now? Is this a good move? And will this make people who don't own a Switch go out and buy a Switch or something like this, the Switch Lite? Or is this just a fledgling move by a company that has always kind of been third heel in the video game market?
Fledgling heel move of marketing. Whatever you said, the last part. It's not smart because basically the Switch, like, it has that HDMI plug. You just plug it directly into your TV, or you can put it in the dock. The dock is just basically an HDMI holder type thing, right?
Right.
So to buy the one without that, this light version, which is a tiny little plug-in that suddenly is no longer there on the Switch, you're just going to hold it in your hands and play it like a Game Boy. I don't know. I mean, I'm not like loaded, but I feel like just wait 6 months and the Switch will probably go on sale, or you could find a used or refurbished Switch.
That's kind of what I feel too.
For probably around the same amount, and at least you can plug it into your TV.
And I think the other thing that we're failing to talk about is the fact that, like, the Switch itself was designed to play with multiple people with the removable Joy-Cons.
Yeah.
You were designed to, like, take off one of the Joy-Cons, hand it to a friend, turn it sideways, and then you could do battle on your tiny little screen with other people like that. Without the removable Joy-Cons, what's the point?
I don't know. I guess it's just a Game Boy. It's just a colored Game Boy with, like,
call it a game. I feel like then call it a fucking Game Boy. Don't call it the Switch, because the whole point of the Switch was that you could switch it from being an indoor thing on your TV on the inside to an outside thing. This seems like it's just gonna be like an outside thing. Like, what's the point?
God, I don't know. To not support the output to the TV is a really stupid.
Well,
I don't know.
Well, we'll see in September, won't we?
So the other thing is that Link's Awakening, the Zelda game, comes out September 20th as well.
So how appropriate?
I bet there's going to be a bundle for that.
How appropriate? Yeah, I won't be picking it up.
But if you, I guess if you're the person who, like, doesn't have a TV or really legitimately never plays video games on TV, or if you're watching all of your TV off a laptop, which I know a lot of college kids and do. Jeff Galfer watches all his TV off his laptop. So this might be the perfect.
You keep mentioning his name, he'll come fuck around and probably sue our ass for defamation or some bullshit.
He doesn't know which Jeff Galfer we're talking about.
You know more than one Jeff Galfer.
He was on a commercial recently.
He was on a few commercials. I've seen him on commercials, like, over the course of my lifetime. But
there was one that he was really funny in. I remember being like, that's Jeff Galfer. It's like 3 or 4 years ago.
I think I saw him get paid for, like, a McDonald's commercial. I saw him, like, eat a cheeseburger.
Everybody, shh. Liam's first words.
Shh. That's it. Duh. Say it with me.
Dorito!
This was like an Alamo, or like he was supposed to be like a business guy. I don't know. Whatever. Doesn't matter.
He's a business guy.
Yes. Right. Speaking of businessy guys or not, this is no segue at all.
That's a terrible segue.
Bond 25. You know the girl from Captain Marvel, Lashana Lynch.
Who did she play?
She's talking about potentially, possibly being James Bond's replacement.
Who did she play?
Who did she play in Captain Marvel? Captain Marvel's friend, the black girl.
The black girl.
Yeah. Black woman.
Who arguably probably should have been Captain Marvel.
That would have been cool.
Because the original Captain Marvel was a black woman. Just saying.
Oh, was she really?
Yeah, we talked about this. Monica Rambeau. She was the original Captain Marvel.
I didn't know that.
Like, there was Marvel, the Kree warrior, blah blah blah.
Right.
And then it was a black woman.
And it did, right. But not anymore. Now it's Brie Larson.
Well,
because that's what we do.
Well, America. So let's just keep it moving on that.
To go back to the Little Mermaid.
She's talking about being Bond?
Yes. So they're talking about that she's the replacement potentially for Bond.
For Craig?
Yeah, because
Get the fuck out of here.
Spectre ended with James Bond on the outs of M16. Right. He'd already been suspended from field duty.
It's called MI6, bro.
Well, M16, whatever.
M16, that's a gun.
Hey, I'm American. We have
it's on the outs for the M16, which is a fantastic gun that helped us win the Vietnam War.
Actually, if you do your research, they M16 was
Did you just give me, and if you do your research, this country club ass motherfucker, yo. If y'all didn't know,
We're into too many threads here. First off, when the Vietnam Wars happened, they invented the M16, right, for the Vietnam War.
for the jungle.
For the jungle, but it was not well suited for the jungle. It kept jamming. Whereas the Vietnamese had the AK-47,
which was a Russian gun, which doesn't. You can literally put it in the dirt, rub mud in the slide, and you can pick it up and go blah 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 and kill people with it.
Thank you very much. That's all I was saying.
Yeah,
M16 was not a great gun.
Which is why it was a great quote because.
But they couldn't even the U.S. soldiers couldn't even steal the AK-47s and use them because they sounded differently.
Okay.
So if you're in the jungle and you got your M16 and you can hear somebody firing AK-47 from a different direction, you will start shooting at that, and you will shoot your own soldiers. Anyways, if they use the AK-47, whatever, doesn't matter.
My point being that it's not M16, it's MI6.
Right. So after he defeats Ernest Stavro Blofeld, he decides to drive off into the sunset in his Aston Martin DB5, right? With Dr. Swan by his side, right? So it's kind of this happy ending. But apparently, the new movie picks up with him in Jamaica, kind of retired.
Right.
And then something Rami Malek pulls him back in.
Right.
With a guest cameo from Jeff Galfer as his little cat henchman.
That'll never happen.
It might happen.
So
anyways, we're talking about Lashana Lynch being the new
next James Bond
00 replacement, potentially.
Huh.
Yeah.
I find that very interesting based on the fact that this week a lot of motherfuckers lost their mind when they cast a black girl as a mermaid.
Right. Well, and that's... I was going to talk about the blacklash.
So,
you like that little term?
I
that was in my...
Yeah, like blacklash. You should use that in the tagline of this episode.
I did. And last episode I did. But apparently a lot of that Little Mermaid kerfuffle was bot based. Like it wasn't.
Really?
Yeah. Like don't get me wrong. I'm sure this is America. I'm sure some people somewhere were like, Little Mermaid shouldn't be black.
So you read somewhere that like a lot of the
that they were tracking back some of these like the hand that was throwing the Little Mermaid. The picture of the hand throwing the Little Mermaid into the trash. They tracked it back. One, it was actually a male hand from a female poster. And they tracked it back to a site that confirmed that it was basically a bot. So they're weaponizing these sort of like
who's weaponizing?
Whoever the white nationalists, the Russians, whoever wants to weaponize hate or to make us a divided society.
Right. So that was basically a ploy. At least this is what this and what was the site that confirmed this?
Because I
haven't seen any of this.
It was on Screen Rant. I have it here somewhere.
I mean, you're probably absolutely 100% right. There's probably bot like laden tropes or whatever. But I stopped tuning in once it became an issue. I was like,
well, that's the idea. Is it even an issue? If 99.999% of the public is totally cool with having a black Halle Berry play the Little Mermaid,
Bailey.
I mean, she's a little old, but whatever. It's fine. I'm not an ageist, you know. I mean, you do, man. It's cool,
dude. Yeah, you are. You're a fucking ageist.
If that 0.1% is suddenly like ruffled by it, why is it even news? Are we just reporting on the news because we know that that's news and people getting outraged? Because really, what's happening? And Zeeson's already talks about this in the special a lot, but it's like we just want to give our opinion of something, and like, oh, that's so fucked up that people are upset that this is a black Little Mermaid, when it's like it's no one. It's like, why are we giving even a voice to these people at all? Why are we even wasting time on this? Well, this is a podcast where we waste time.
You know, it's I think this is sort of what it sounds like to me, and I'm not gonna put words in your mouth. It sounds like that's an indictment of our media and sort of like the obsession to consume. Like the fact that we have like a 24-hour news station seems to me part of this problem. How is there always news 24 hours a day that you can report on? And I think a lot of times because of this model, they just fabricate shit or make things that don't necessarily need to be blown to that high. Like this whole thing with The View and like Meghan McCain or whatever her face is.
What's going on? Oh yeah,
like all of that stuff. I'm like, how is this news?
Can I just say?
Yeah.
Can I just say?
Yeah.
Is that our tagline? I just want to say here for a second.
And like apparently like there's the set is like tumultuous because she feels like she's alone. And that she feels like she's the token Republican and all this extra like feelings worth stuff that I'm like, really? They're paying you $1 million an episode for what, an hour, maybe 2, to sit in a comfy chair and talk shit the way we talk shit right now.
Would you go on that show for $1 million an episode and be a Republican?
Yes.
Yeah.
I could fake it. I could fake it like a motherfucker. If the check that I'm catching at the end of the day is $1 million to sit and be like, so yes, Donald Trump is the greatest white man to and I just start pronouncing things like what?
The conundrum is that you can never ever come out and say that you were paid to be a Republican. You have to own it for the rest of your life. And if you ever for a moment say, actually I was paid to say all that, your money vanishes. Everything. And Jeff Galfer takes its place.
I don't think if those were the stipulations, no, I couldn't do it.
Okay.
I couldn't do it.
Awesome.
At the end of the day, I got to be able to look at myself in the mirror and be like, you're still a fucking G, bro.
You don't have to, with that kind of money, you don't even need mirrors. You can just buy people to like paint you looking satisfied and happy.
Yeah.
Everything's a mural in your house.
I don't want to be that kind of guy. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy. So as we're talking here, I'm sitting here watching gameplay of the new Apex Legends Seasons 2.
Yeah.
You know, we were just talking about EA and that stuff. And
so explain to Jeff Galfer Apex
I'm not
Legends.
explaining anything to fucking Jeff Galfer. I'll explain everything to mom and dad.
Okay, explain to my mom and
Jeff
dad.
Galfer is a grown-ass fucking man, and if he doesn't know this shit already, he can look it up or he can kill himself. Those are his two options. I'm sorry. Yo, shout out to Jeff Galfer, though. What's up, my dude?
It's a Fortnite competitor, basically. Apex
It's a free
Legends.
Fortnite competitor.
Yeah. Fortnite was free.
It's the AAA free Fortnite competitor. It's made by and we've talked about this on the podcast. It's made by the same guys who made Titanfall and Titanfall 2.
Right.
But it's a battle royale first person shooter. But I don't play these games, but I love watching people play these games well because it's kind of like what I was saying about like what we were just talking about esports and them wanting to sort of monetize on things like Overwatch,
right,
and Fortnite,
right,
and Apex Legends. It's a lot of fun watching this stuff, and I guess a lot of people do like YouTube and streamers and whatever, and they're just basically trying to make a market out of where a couple thousand, 100,000 people really like this stuff and would be, I guess, willing to pay for it.
I think there's more than that. I think it's like in the millions of people.
Well, see, I don't understand how they're going to try to monetize on something that you can basically upload, like streaming, like how that's a thing. Like,
well, it's sort of like, yeah. I mean, there's lots of different ways.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, you have the video game,
like
Apex
I said, I'm not
Legends.
an economist, so
What was that?
I said I'm not an economist, so I can't.
Yeah, I mean, because there's lots of different ways. There's ads you can put in the game. There's also downloadable skins and guns and tons of different accessories.
That's how Fortnite did it. They did it with skins and
that's what
dances and all that.
Yeah,
stuff.
And that's why what's his face was suing Fortnite
Alfonso
for the Carlton
Ribeiro,
dance,
right?
Because like they made a couple million off of people downloading
his image of doing a dance that he ostensibly created. But how do you prove that?
Right. Well, you just show them the video and
be like, no, the courts ruled that you can't. Well, it's always been on the books that you can't copyright a specific piece of choreography. I guess like Bob Fosse, like that's like that whole thing. I guess you couldn't sue people for being like, oh, this is even though it's called the Fosse. It's like,
I guess
it's a thing. It's a thing. I don't know, but like I said, I'm not an economist, but it's a thing.
Yeah, good point. What else you were talking about Apex Legends? I thought you had a point. No point?
Oh wait, did I not make it?
I guess you did.
I thought I did. I was just watching some of the gameplay for it, and it makes... Well, my point was that it apparently is not doing... Well, it kind of goes to the fact that video games aren't doing well.
The second season's not doing well.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think it's just summer. I think people are just out at the pool.
You think so? Okay.
I mean, maybe.
I honestly, I feel like... Apparently, the article that I read was saying that it was punishing you for grinding. Like some of these games.
Oh,
yeah. I don't know. I honestly don't know because I was like, how do you punish someone in a battle royale shooter for grinding? How do you grind in a battle royale type game? That's not a thing, right? It's not necessary. You go from point to point, picking up weapons and what have you, and then you just try to murder off the people that try to murder you. I
guess the real question is, why did you and I not play this game?
I played it.
Yeah, but why did you not continue to play it?
Because I don't like battle royales.
Yeah.
I don't like that, like...
It's a saturation right now of the market.
Well, that plus like in a battle royale game, like if you go out, you're basically locked into that game until somebody wins it.
Yeah.
which can be 15 minutes.
That's not how it works. No,
Is it not?
No, because Fortnite, like you're running around. There's 100 people. They drop you on an island. You get shot. You can sit around and wait and see who the winner is,
Right.
or you can
into
cut
another
out and
match.
jump into a whole new game. Yeah.
Interesting.
There's no reason not to play it now, Rob.
Yeah, no.
I think it's just saturation of the market, saturation of first-person shooters. Like,
I like Apex Legends better than I like Fortnite. I could see
Yes.
myself picking up Apex Legends and playing that and getting proficient and like really wanting to see it do well. But I tried both those games. I tried Fortnite when because they gave it to us on PlayStation. Like
it was free, yeah.
Yeah, they
It's free
throw
for
it
a long
at
time.
our faces all the time. And I downloaded it and I was like, ugh. It seemed like, and I said the same thing for Apex Legends. It seemed like there was a really huge learning curve to get really proficient at.
There is, yeah.
And if I was gonna if you had that same scenario, like if 2 hours to live and I had to play one of these for my last 2 hours, it would definitely be Apex Legends. It
Yeah.
would definitely be Apex Legends, hands down.
Over Fortnite. Yeah.
Over Fortnite,
Yeah, yeah.
over Fortnite, over a PUBG, over any of those battle royale shooters. Over any
Yeah.
of them.
It's just, it's such a weird thing to be, like, I remember being a kid and it was like, oh man, I could go rent a video game from like the local little video store.
You old bastard.
I could like go to Toys R Us and get the little paper coupon and buy it if I had like, it was, back then they were still $49.99. They were not cheap.
That you just said two things that don't exist anymore.
I know. I did deliberately, man. Come on.
Don't exist anymore. I would go to a video store and rent a game, and I would go to Toys R Us
Get a little paper coupon, take it to the front.
Those don't exist anymore.
Remember Toys R Us was dope though because it had that wall of like video games and you could like flip through them and like.
Only thing it's one of the. I'm sort of mad and kind of sad that I won't be able to scratch off the bucket list. But one of my bucket list things was I wanted to do like, you remember back in the day they used to have like the Toys R Us like run, like they would do like these sponsored thing, and they would if you want it they would
get a cart.
Get a cart.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
You could run through the store as fast as you could and put anything in the cart. And you could just have it.
Wow, it's Nickelodeon Super Toy Run.
Yeah, 5 minutes to grab everything at Toys R Us.
Okay, I got my running shoes
Get
on.
going.
Go left.
No, right.
Look, chess.
Go for the video game.
Yeah, and kids had like plans. They had like route set.
Right.
Yeah. I go here first, and I go
That
here,
is the
over here,
thing
and I go
that
back down.
I'm amiss that I won't be able to do in my lifetime is do a Toys R Us run.
Yeah.
I wanted that so badly as a kid. I wanted
How about
that.
this? How about this? When we hit it big, when we
bring
get
Toys R
that
Us back.
huge donation from Jeff Galfer Foundation, when we hit it really big,
Bring it back.
what we'll do is like we'll basically get you a cart. We'll go to Toys R Us. We'll bring
They
them
don't
back.
exist anymore, bro.
I heard there was a rumor that they were coming back. They'll be back.
I want them to be so bad.
Yeah, they'll definitely come back. We'll get you a cart. I'll give you a time limit. How much time was it? Was it like a minute?
I think was it 60 seconds?
It was
I feel
something
like it was
that.
like 2 minutes, maybe.
All right, we'll give you 2 minutes, and you can go through Toys R Us with a cart while people are in the store.
It's gonna be brutal.
And whatever you
It's
grab,
gonna be brutal, bro. It's gonna be brutal.
we'll pay for it.
It's gonna be brutal.
Just taking your arm, just doing sweeps.
I mean,
sweeping it in.
I feel bad for any little kid or old lady that gets in my way on that day. I'm sorry. It'll be merciless.
My mother used to
merciless.
take us to like my father too, but used to take us like Toys R Us. I think like once a week and be like, you can get like any G.I. Joe character,
Word?
any Star Wars character.
Mom and Dad used to take you to Toys R Us like once a week to get a
Yeah, because it was kind of like set the way, and there was also this other place called Children's Palace, and they were both kind of set in between where my dad worked and where our house was. It was like right there in the middle.
Uh-huh.
And I think that I don't know, it was just like what you do with kids. Like you're bored, so like you want, you know, you stuck them with like some shitty ass like
cool.
nanny for a while. And now you got to like make it up to them, so you take them like Toys R Us. I say every week,
See,
but it
I don't
probably was
remember
only
having a nanny. I do not remember ever having like someone to be like, other than my mom being like, "Hey, I'm supposed to be responsible for you for a few hours."
Well, it's like child daycare service when your parents are trying to figure out, is this worth it? Did we make money on this? Is this a safe environment for our kids? No, no, and no.
Well, I feel like kids today don't even know how easy they have it. Like, do you know that Nintendo has they've had they I don't know if they have it now, but they're going to be. You know how they have the new boxes of Nintendo, like
Right.
the retro Nintendo, or whatever.
Yes.
Apparently, there's a rewind
classic.
function on them.
There's a what?
A rewind function
that just came out.
That just came. Yeah.
Well, yeah, okay. Well, I think there's always been the rewind and the Nintendo Classic. That's like that mini console that you can buy and plug it into your TV. It looks like a small little Nintendo. That's
Right.
always been there. But
Right.
they
The one
now
with
just
HDMI out.
Yeah, so
Right.
they now just added that to the online Switch NES Classic games, so you can rewind them and play them again.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, that's why I should read these before I segue
Yeah.
to them. Yeah,
But
that makes sense.
but you're right. My whole point in bringing all of this up was that kids do not understand like how great it is, and that almost makes it not great. They can go on and they can download all of these free games that are way better than anything we ever played as a kid.
Library, like what? 3 decades worth of? Wow. Yeah.
I mean, just right now, the games that are like Warframe's free, right?
Well, Warframe's been free, and that's a great game. Have you played any of it?
Yeah, a little bit, sure. But any one of these games could have lasted me almost my entire childhood just playing it and having fun with it.
Yeah.
And now I don't want to play any of them because I don't have any time.
Well, you don't.
But you're not playing them either. That's my whole point.
But I played enough of them to be like, I like these, are good, but there's just so much the ocean is deep.
Yeah.
This leads me to this was going to lead me into what I was into this week, but I'll say it here. I accidentally signed up for the subscription for PlayStation. Now I think it's View or PlayStation Now. Yeah. I actually and here's the thing. It wasn't intentional, but I think I'm going to let it rock because they're like when you sign, like after the trial or whatever.
How do you accidentally sign up for something?
I was sitting in the house. I was kind of bored. I was like, and because my card got, if you don't the day after, this is a story for the masses. The day after July 4th,
my birthday,
Larry's birthday, my card got intruded, so I didn't have access.
Well, let me tell the story.
Oh,
so he comes over and immediately
we're recording. It was the day we were recording the podcast.
Yeah, and he's on the phone immediately. Just walks in my house. He's on the phone talking to somebody, and I know exactly. I can just tell from the conversation. Like, yeah, my card, blah blah blah. And he's like, 2 cents, and he's like, what do you mean $15 fee? And I'm like, dude, just ask him to waive the fee. So basically, your card, they denied you your card, right. Or they canceled your card, and they were going to send you a new card, but it's going to take a week.
Yeah.
So you're going to be cardless
7 to 10
for
business days. So
cardless and cashless for 1 week.
Right. Unless I go to the main hub and withdraw money there, which is like Times Square Broadway.
But they contacted you. That's what's so great. They basically contacted you and like, yeah, you're going to pay us $15.
And I was like, what? I was like, wait, no, I don't want to. No, I'm not doing that.
So a fake fee of 2 cents showed up, and you paid $15.
No, I'm not doing. So basically.
Have you gotten your new card yet?
No, which is why I came in and I gave you $5. So what Larry had to end up doing that day
on my birthday,
on his birthday, was like, here's some money to get home.
And I'm 25. I don't have a lot of money.
I didn't even ask you on the podcast last week how you felt about being 40.
I'm not 40. I'm 39.
Fuck you. You're 40.
I'm 39. 1980.
Kill yourself. You're 40, man.
No, I'm
in
not.
Mathematics, you round up to the next. You should have been saying 40 the minute you turn 35, motherfucker. So I don't even know why we having this discussion. You've been 40 for about the last 4.5 years.
As a wise man very much said, do not put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. Don't put it on me. I'm not there yet.
Well played, sir. Good form.
Are you going? Go back to your Nintendo Now thing,
right?
Or Nintendo Now, PlayStation Now.
So that's
how do you accidentally subscribe to this?
Well, see, this is the thing. I didn't. I was. You know how like you have to. There's a couple different confirms. Yes, I want to do this. Yes, I want to do this. I was trying to see how far they would let me confirm before I backed off. And it only took like 2 yeses. It was like bap, bap, and I was like, "Oh,
you are committed to life."
Now. But here's the thing: they will charge my card on the 16th. But if you know if you know how like the PlayStation works, like you put the card that you have like in,
got it.
And that's what they charge.
Got it.
But I don't have that card anymore.
They're going to give you the same card with a different number on, or with the same number on it.
No, they're not.
They reissue with the same number.
Credit like your actual like debit card. No, they never issued the same number to you twice.
I've had the same number for like 2 or 3 years.
You sure about that?
Yeah.
So
I think. I'm not sure.
Wait. Is this been like basically your card has run its course, and then you've gotten a new one. Not like somebody has taken your your identity.
No, you're right.
And you've had to get a new one.
No, the numbers change. You're right. They'll probably change.
Like,
but
what the fuck are you
looked
talking
really
about?
worried for a moment.
I was like, no. I know that's not true. So
How much a month is PlayStation Now? Which is explain to Jeff Galfer and my parents what PlayStation Now is.
I will explain it to Mom and Dad. Jeff Galfer can figure this shit out on his own. So basically, it's not unlike what we were talking about with what Microsoft is trying to do with the Stadia. Be basically a subscription based, basically like Netflix for video games,
streaming video games.
Games. It's $20.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't know. I said that initially too, but like I'm gonna wait till like the 16th. So what are they gonna do? Like when the 16th rolls around and they try to charge that card, they're gonna be like, oh, you got I guess a week's and a half worth of
They're
all
gonna
these.
Put out a hit on you, man. They find people.
Yo, for what? For streaming a couple video games that I like? Nah, come on, they can't do that. They won't do that.
Yeah, so I remember I woke up one day and like turned on my PlayStation after a night of gaming and like just wandering the PlayStation Now store and realized I had bought a game. Like just forgot. Like I think like I got really tired and clicked on some stuff and then tried to exit out, but like wasn't really paying attention because I was kind of like stoned and tired and like just had clicked yes and downloaded the whole game.
No shit.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. You have the option to stream the game or you can download them.
Yes, now.
And I haven't downloaded. I guess now, because I don't remember if that was a thing.
It wasn't. So yeah, initially it was just you could stream the game, but now they've offered certain games you can download, which is kind of cool.
Which is I think is awesome.
Yeah.
Like I haven't downloaded anything because I don't want them when they come to the 16th. They're like, wait a minute, this card doesn't work.
Yeah, no.
We gotta get our. I was like, maybe I should just download everything now and be like, haha, come find me.
What are you in jail for, sir? Illegally downloading PlayStation Now, not paying for it.
But yeah, man.
Warner Media streaming service is calling their new service is going to be called HBO Max. Speaking of streaming services,
really?
So Warner Brothers owns HBO, right? There's already HBO Go. That's already a thing.
Right.
So now they're going to also have HBO Max. And they have exclusive rights to things like Friends. And this is a competitor to like Disney Plus, Apple TV Plus, HBO Max.
Okay, sure. I
so I give them props for not naming it HBO Plus.
I gave it props for being like, hey, we're going to throw our hats into this ring because we've had the best stuff on TV for a while.
Yeah, it's going to be expensive. It's like $17.99. This is in addition to $14.99 for HBO Go.
Oh, in addition to?
Yeah.
Oh. But you don't need both. You
I know.
That's what's
so that's strange, right? So I don't know what they're going to do, but they're going to have like they're going to have these HBO originals known as Max originals. So it's almost like, I don't know, maybe there's a connection to Cinemax, but it's like I don't know, it's just strange. Strange to have HBO Go and HBO Max. But there are some shows coming out for this. Dune: The Sisterhood, which is an adaptation of Brian Herbert and Kevin Anderson's book. There's Tokyo Vice, which is based on Jake Adelstein's nonfiction first-hand account of Tokyo Metropolitan Police Beat.
That sounds cool.
The Flight Attendant, 1-hour thriller series based on the novel by Chris Bojalian. That's correct. You don't know. You don't know if that was the right pronunciation or not. What else? Love Life, 10-episode half-hour romantic comedy. Station 11, post-apocalyptic limited series. Made for Love, 10-episode half-hour straight-to-series adaptation. And Gremlins, the animated series.
Ooh.
There's other stuff, too, on here. I mean, it goes on.
Well, speaking of animated series, you know what else is getting an animated series? Is that game Cuphead?
Oh, yeah, I saw that. Neither one of us played because it's on Xbox.
Yeah.
It's on Switch now, too, but it's supposed to be brutally hard, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to do that.
It looks... I love that art style. It's, reminiscent of that, like, Steamboat Willie era of animation. That's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, but, I mean, I'm down.
God, but what the hell's going on with all these... Everybody's just fighting for the streaming services.
Well, I think, honestly, I feel like... And part of the reason is that's the future. The future is no longer you go to a store and you buy plastic disc that you keep on the shelf. You have a digital online library that you keep all these things, or a hard drive, or thumb drive, or some stick. Where when you it's interesting to me that it's kind of what Napster in its infancy kind of proposed and it's kind of grown like the file sharing.
The file sharing
is it? You know what I'm?
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm kind of veering between. I'm riding the line between two different topics and two different worlds. But it's ostensibly that's the future. It's no longer like I love that you still have, and I think that's why it's dope that you still have such an amazing like LP collection, like a record collection.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Because those things are gonna be rarer and rarer, especially like bigger and more eclectic collections.
Yeah, LPs are selling more than CDs now.
Exactly.
Yeah,
because they're it's a dying way of listening, or it's a dying art form in a lot of ways. That after a time you won't see, like, people are digitizing libraries like that just so like you don't have these plastic, things that will eventually deteriorate and become nothing. Well, maybe no.
I don't know if that was ever it. I think it was just the nature of for me how you listen to music, when you listen to music, and where you listen to music.
Right.
Because I've gone through a lot of different sea changes with that. I started with CD, started ostensibly with cassettes, and my father gave me his record collection when I was like 14, 15, in a stereo, so I always had those. Then I started collecting CDs throughout high school and college.
What happened to those? Well, where are those now?
Well, when I moved to New York, I brought them all with me, and I still kept. There were so many used CD stores in New York that it was great. I kind of neglected the
used CD stores in New York. Think about that.
Like, I remember a time when you could find almost any LP you ever wanted for under $10. Everything was cheap. Only the most super rare stuff was expensive. Now all that stuff is caught up, and so like if you want to find like a Fleetwood Mac album in a decent shape, it's probably going to cost you $8 to $10.
Oh wow!
You know what I mean? If you go to the right places, you hunt for a little bit, or you just accidentally come across it, you might get it for like $3 or $4 or something like that. But if you want to find, like, what was I was listening to the first album by ELO yesterday on Spotify while at work, and I thought, I should. This is cool. I had like a lot of violin. I should get this on LP. Now there's a whole like Discogs, which is online, connects every LP seller in the country to this one place, and you can go through every version of that album at different price points, different
pressings,
pressings, different states of how
wear and tear.
Yeah, wear and tear, exactly.
That's cool.
So if you want a mint copy, that's going to cost you about $40 to $50. If you want a shitty scratched up like fuzzy copy, that's going to cost you like $3.
Now, mind you, we're talking about a technology that's been around for what, like half a century, like records themselves, like it's gonna be crazy to think like the rarity of some of these things, how rare they're gonna be. Like I was literally reading this page I have open right now. This $60,000 Pokemon card went missing, and people they're offering a reward for it.
Oh, I saw that. It went missing in the mail.
In the mail,
somebody mailed it.
Why would you do that?
I don't know.
You know what I'm saying? But like, just the fact that like this card is worth $60,000, and this is an art property that hasn't been around half a century. Pokemon's been around for what, maybe 20 years?
Yeah. I mean, I think in my record collection, I have a couple that are worth a lot. There's one that's a Neil Young Time Stands Still. It's a promo pressing, which means the record doesn't, on the actual LP, the sticker that is on the record is black and white as opposed to
colored,
the yellow. So this is what they sent, because my father worked for radio stations.
They would send these out to the radio
for free, and they'd say, here's a free record, play it, and that's how people listen to music. So because it was a promo and that was rare, and because it's in good shape, and it was an album that wasn't pressed a lot, it's even more rare.
That's cool.
It's worth like $300.
That's cool. Have you gone through your collection and like?
Yeah, I have it all. I have 1,065 records.
Wow.
And they're all on Discogs, all categorized, all with like and I did that last year. It was fun. I just sat there with. It took me about 2 weeks.
That's cool.
So typing it in, looking it up. There's so many different versions of it. If you live in Australia, they have their own pressings. They have their Australian record pressings of everything.
In South Africa, there's some
exactly.
Like I was remember a couple weeks back we were talking about this In the Jungle song,
right?
And how that
yeah. So I bet the original pressing of that from South Africa is worth a ton.
Wow.
Versus the pressing here in America, which had probably like a million presses, not worth much at all.
Wow.
So it's supply and demand, and really the only reason that Neil Young record is worth so much because at some point in time somebody bought it for that much, and this is what you understand about art. and my wife talks to me a lot about this, is that art is worth as much as you insure it for, or as much as you buy it for. So if I insure whatever this little piece of shit here on my desk is for $1 million, that's how much it's worth, right? If you buy it from me for $1 million and somebody wants to buy it from you, it's now worth $1 million. Like it could be anything.
Kill yourself.
So, yeah. So the difference between like streaming TV and movies versus owning that Blu-ray copy or that 4K Blu-ray copy or that DVD, because I got rid of most of my DVDs.
I've been actually thinking about getting rid of, because I have a ton of DVDs still, and like I don't need them anymore.
I mean, I like taking the time and finding a record through the collection and playing it here on the stereo, and it sounds better, and I like looking at the art, and I don't necessarily need that on my iPhone to go. If I want to, I can find that. I can find it through Spotify, or I can download it, or whatever.
Or YouTube. Most people watch or listen to music through YouTube.
Yeah, but I would say out of those 1,000 records, I'd say there's probably about half, maybe not half, maybe about 200, 300, which are not anywhere, which are not on iTunes, which are not on, like, Spotify. They're just nowhere.
That's cool.
Yeah, so that's cool too. So that's music is being lost that way. Same thing's happening with video games. Some of those cartridges, those early NES cartridges from the 80s, have never had any sort of like emulation online.
Right.
And they're basically just kind of being lost. There's no museum
you can't
for video
find
games.
E.T.
What was that?
You can't find E.T. online.
Yeah. What, from the Atari version?
Yeah, the Atari version, which basically was shit.
Yeah. I mean, so there is preservation that's kind of happening with all these things. But for me, like if I'm gonna watch everything on my TV anyways, which is in the middle of my house, I'm not watching stuff on the train. I'm not watching things like.
I typically don't. I typically like when I'm like, at least here in New York, when I'm like traversing places, I'm not like watching movies or like if anything, I'm listening to music. That's where music kind of like holds me from place to place. That's sort of the interlinking for me. Is I will listen to music everywhere, but I'm not watching a movie on the train.
Right. So there's no reason to really own like the really nice steelbook version of Black Panther,
right?
Because you can just watch it online. You can watch it on YouTube. You can watch it on not YouTube, on Netflix or whatever.
There's just so many options now that weren't options before. Of getting media where and when you, as the person, desires it.
Right. But occasionally some of these things, like we had the Willow episode, and I was just doing mild research on Willow, and I found online, because I always go to eBay and search that stuff. But
Still eBay, huh?
Yeah. Well, the Blu-ray version of Willow that I bought, I think back when the girls were really little, before this stuff was really streaming a lot, and before I was really downloading anything off torrents or any of that stuff, that's worth like $120 because they just had a very small printing of it, and somehow I was in the right place at the right time and bought it, right? And that's the Blu-ray. Again, it's like supply and demand. Like, why is it worth $120 or $100 on eBay? It's because somebody's selling it and somebody wants it. So there are collectors for these things, but that it's kind of sad because there was a large contingency of collectors for DVDs. Like if you used to go to Kim's Music over here on St. Mark's, or there was also one on 2nd Avenue, they had huge sections of DVDs, and people would just be going through there and scrolling and looking for things. And people collect all the Criterion Collection DVDs. Right.
When's the last time you bought a DVD? Can you remember?
Oh, I didn't. Oh, I don't buy DVDs
you used
ever.
To collect Blu-rays for a time.
I used to really what was happening with the Blu-rays was after the kids were born, we were just inside a lot, and so I was like, okay, I'll buy. And I would take the kids to like Best Buy, and I'd find like a $5 Blu-ray, and I'd buy it for them, or I'd buy it for me. This is before I didn't understand. I didn't believe that the screen picture quality would catch up in time, and it did.
It totally did.
Yeah, it totally did. Because there was a while when we had our first Roku player with Netflix on it. It was streaming things in standard definition and occasionally high definition. Nothing was in 4K, though.
Right.
So Blu-ray was always going to look way better. And now I don't buy them anymore because everything's streaming in 4K, and they're already talking about 8K coming.
Yeah.
I should have known that stuff was going to happen. But
that's inevitable.
Yeah.
It's sort of the inevitable progression of technology as we go forward is that you're not going to need, a block of your apartment to house the things that you enjoy.
Right.
Which I'm all for.
Yeah,
I mean, if I had declutter.
I mean, I don't know. If I had more room, I like collecting things.
I like collecting books. I think that's still one of my favorite things. Like coming into a person's home and seeing like their shelves filled with books, even if they haven't read all of them. Just the fact that they have all these different books from varying subjects, and you could, just pull one off the shelf and get enthralled. I like that.
Yeah.
That's cool to me. Records also.
Yeah, I hate reading books on my phone.
That I don't.
Or a tablet. I don't like it. I can't do it.
I don't like the non-tactile ability of it.
Yeah.
Like the act of actually turning a page makes me more involved in the process of reading whatever I'm reading.
Yeah.
Like if I'm reading something and like if it goes off the subject or if it gets too dense at any point and I'm reading it off a screen, it's too easy for me to just zone out and like, let's see what Facebook is fucking with.
Right, exactly. There's so many options at your fingertips just to distract you and pull you into something else.
Right. You got anything else, man?
I think that's it, bud.
I got one more piece, and it's a little cherry topper.
Is it about Jeff Galfer?
It's not even remotely, but a character maybe that Jeff Galfer can relate to.
Okay.
So John Turturro's character from The Big Lebowski, Jesus, apparently is getting his own spinoff.
I had heard about this. Yeah.
I don't know any more news other than that, but like, What am I all for this, or am I like, let a sleeping dog lie? But apparently, it's set for 2020. Let me see what this article says, and this is IGN reporting on it. Spinoff of Big Lebowski called Jesus Rolls, and starring John Turturro himself has been confirmed for 2020 release date. The movie is being written and directed by Turturro and will tell a new story that features his classic character of Jesus Quintana and what he's been up to in the time following The Big Lebowski. So I guess it's taking place after the events of The Big Lebowski, and Turturro's writing and directing it.
Okay.
Is that it? Writing and directing? Yeah, writing and directing it.
Yeah, and apparently Pete Davidson might be in it.
Oh wow. Okay.
I lost a lot of respect for John Turturro after the Transformers movies.
Really?
And I say that in a way that like I'm ready to jump back in with John Turturro at any moment. But like, there was some, and I think it was just more my anger at how bad those movies were.
And you were mad that he was collecting a check on.
Yeah. God, there was something I read about, and the number one movie that year had been the Transformers movie that I saw. There's the first one with Shia LaBeouf. And it was before we really knew that these movies were going to be that bad. Like the first Transformer was not good, but it wasn't that bad. And then they got way worse.
I disagree. I think that first Transformer... excuse me. I'm having a conniption fit over here.
Yeah. Take your time.
Oh, my God. So I feel like that first Transformers movie was everything it needed to be based on the fact that they've been wanting to make that movie since the 80s.
Yep.
So I loved it. But regardless of its flaws, which were many... I loved it because it felt like a live-action, long version of their 22-minute cartoon.
Right.
So, in that way, complete success.
As far as it being a movie and a film of worth?
See, this is what I say about things like that, because I started saying it recently when I was talking about DC's Legends of Tomorrow. I was like, is this really bad, or is like here's the paradigm that you put it in. If this was a cartoon, would you care about the things that you're upset about with it? And,
good point. Yeah.
And if you're like, if this was a cartoon, I'd be completely okay with it. That's fine. Based on the subject matter, based on the fact that we're talking about a cartoon that they turned into a live action movie. Based on those criteria, that's kind of what I've been kind of doing these days, especially for properties that I know have either video game origins or comic book origins. If they were okay as comics and if they were okay as cartoons, then you can't fault them for being terrible live action, because there's some shits just don't translate.
I agree with you, because like there's I can't think of anything in particular, but I know there's stuff that's just sort of mediocre in one medium,
right?
And then it gets translated into the live action version, and people like lose their minds that it's not great,
right?
I'm like, well, it was never. I can't think of. There was something in my head, I can't remember what it was. But.
Yeah, this was. I had a good example for this too. That I was like, yo, man, what was it? But yeah, like people lose their minds when it gets transferred over, and sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's an original idea, but
No.
Like, if it was okay, like, if you just think about it in that way, like, if this was a cartoon, would I be all for this? And most times, if you step back and you do that, you're like, yeah, if this was a fucking cartoon, I'd be 100% on board with this. And that's kind of where that's kind of where the Transformers movies, and very, very strongly that first one, fall for me.
We saw John Turturro's ass in a thong.
Yes, we did.
Oh,
yes, we did.
I just want to. That's what I think when you say Jesus.
Yeah.
Spin-off movie. That's I think John Turturro's ass.
It's a spin-off, but it's not. And I want to be clear about this. It's not a sequel because neither Jeff Bridges, John Goodman, or the Coen brothers are coming or having anything to do with this production. So it's. I mean, I think good on the Coen brothers for letting Turturro run with a piece of their property and do his own thing. It's
called Jesus Rolls.
That's what I said. Yes.
I just didn't realize. I had to see it in print for myself.
Jesus
Rolls.
Hopefully cast members that will be in Jesus Rolls include Barbie Cannavale, Audrey Tautou, John Hamm,
hamming it up,
Susan Sarandon, and Pete Davidson. That's not a bullshit ass cast.
No word though on Jeff Bridges or John Goodman.
I don't think they'll be back for this.
No, they shouldn't.
I don't think they'll
stay out. Stay out. Do you think it's gonna be about bowling? It's gonna be like Kingpin style.
I don't. I think it'll be about him being a pederast.
Yeah. Okay. That would be a prequel,
Walter?
though.
Shut the fuck up.
God, you're right. They're gonna be doing a whole spin-off movie about a pederast. Kids,
8-year-olds, dude.
8-year-olds, dude.
My point is...
Are you ready to be fucked, man? I see you roll your way into the semis. Dios mío, man. Liam and me, we're gonna fuck you up.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
I'm your host, Lawrence Dial.
And I'm your boy, Rob Carmer Robinson.
Tune in a couple days for our review of Stranger Things. We're gonna record it right now, so we're gonna edit it like it seems like it's a few days later.
He's gonna fix that part where he tells you what we're gonna do later in post.
I can't because you talk. If we talk at the same time, then I can't do it. Sorry.
Oh, I think you can.
Yes. Maybe I won't. Maybe I will.
You're an ass.
Let's take a break.
Ouch!
I gotta go
my
pee.
Legs and my hips. I've got hip dysplasia.
You're getting old.
I got hip dysplasia.
I had a thing last night that screwed me up, man. It's like a thing in my leg that comes from, I think, waiting tables too much.